Thank you. It's pacey, it's fast, it's energizing. I think that in a nutshell explains the hot seat that I'm in right now.
Even though it's a hot seat, someone has to occupy it. And there's a big role ahead because, when people start seeing signs of progress, they then expect a lot from you. What state did you find South African Hockey Association in, and what state would you like to see it in?
So, something that I live by is I want to leave the world a better place than
Good
what I
knowledge.
found it in.
Yeah.
From a administration point of view, we were actually in a very good space. But being foolish, you would ignore that. You would want to look at ways to improve the environment, the operations of the office. Um, from a national team perspective, there's lots happening. Our women are building, they're busy in the building phase. They were in the World Cup round just before Com Games. Didn't do too well, but this new coach, because that was his first outing, the new coach is really striving to take this team to higher levels. They're in camp today. They started their second camp in November today, and then they'll be going to Nations Cup, as you know, in December.
Yeah.
Our Hockey Fives ladies are in camp also today here in London, and they'll be deciding their team in the next day or two. Our indoor team will also be preparing for a World Cup in February. So there's a lot on the go. Men's Nations Cup is in December in Poch, and in fact the guys assemble on Monday for that particular tournament. So there's a lot going on, and really ideally you want to see your teams go from strength to strength, and each team in its own right will continuously build to get to a better level.
Exciting stuff. Talking about teams getting better and better and better. The Nations Cup will be happening very soon. The men's version, as well as the ladies' version. One in South Africa, one in Spain. How's it going in terms of preparations? Are you happy with the quality of the teams? Because when you go out there and face the world, only then you realize that, we need to invest in 1, 2, 3. We need to invest in high performance centers. We need to invest in this. We need to invest in that. How's it going?
So I'll speak to the ladies first. Like I said, they had they had a camp about 2-3 weeks ago, and that was just an assessment. This camp today, starting today, is another block, another brick in their building blocks. So they're really striving to get better per camp. They'll have another short camp before they leave for Nations Cup. So from the women's point of view, their story is different to the men. So yes, they probably don't have goals of winning this Nations Cup, but they definitely have goals of doing better per game they play, and using that as the part, or maybe the start of the road to Paris 2024. The men, as you might know, were playing for a medal game at Com Games. So that's one of the best results that we've seen in a very long time. So from a good team perspective, I think the men are in a better position to actually win the competition. That, I believe, is their goal. Winning this competition means they get entrance into Pro League.
Wow.
And Pro League is amongst the top ranked tournaments in FIH. It ranks up there with Commonwealth Games, World Cups, as well as the Olympics. So it is the creme de la creme of hockey. And if our men can get into that, I'm sure they'll be very happy. Look, there are certain criteria we still have to meet, other than winning this competition. And at the end of the day, that's what they're going to strive for.
In English, they say there's nothing wrong with copying, provided you copy a good thing. In sport, there's always a team or a nation, in this case, that is better than you. Is there any of the nations out there that, as South African Hockey Association, you've looked at them and said, this country is doing so well in hockey, we need to partner with them and see what is it, maybe exchange programs and see what is it that we can learn from them in an effort to ensure that in the near future, when we have a conversation, you will say our ladies are going out there to win it.
So it's a difficult question, a very difficult question, because one would always want to aspire to the top one in the world, be it on the men or be it on the ladies' side, and you've got different top number ones. But there is a particular country that has done well. If you look at them 10 years ago, they were very low in the rankings, and over time, they really turned their whole program around from an admin point of view, from a high performance point of view. And I think, if I stand corrected, it's Belgium, and they've really excelled in what they do. So if I look at what Belgium has done and how they've turned their ship around, I think that is probably a country we need to look to learn from. I mean, you've got your Australias, you've got your Germanys, you've got your Argentinas. So those are countries one would always look to understand what they do well. And if you sit back, one of the things they do well, and that is funding dependent, is high performance. And they do it because there's money around. Unfortunately, in South Africa, we are still very amateur, and that is one area that we consistently work towards, and that is sponsorship, seeking for sponsorship. And the more money you have, the better your program is. I think that's one of the reasons why our men did so well. There was money to send them to Pro League, and they came back and basically medaled almost.
Beautiful stuff. Let's take hockey back to the schools. It depends which school one went to. There are schools where you would get there, there's all facilities, different sporting codes, and hockey is accommodated. But certain schools, they don't have the facilities like other schools. And the popular sports you would get, it's soccer, netball, or rugby, cricket, done, that kind of vibe. What's the situation like from the grassroots level, your partnerships with schools? How's it going? Are we likely, not tomorrow of course, but in the future, get to see a hockey school in one of the villages in this country, so that the talent out there does not get neglected just because it's far away from the city?
So from a rural perspective, we've got a program that is best suited to your non-fee paying schools. We call it modified hockey. It's modified in the numbers, so it's 5 versus 5, 5v5. And what we've done is we've created a hockey stick, a color-coded hockey stick. So one, it does away with the need for a paddle, because you've got a red stick. All those with the red sticks will play against those with the blue sticks.
Oh, nice.
And we've now decided to keep it in the community. So we will create hubs in the local community. The schools there will play against each other. And once they mastered the art, only then will they migrate into the schools program. But I'm very pleased to say that at this year's AGM, the schools have adopted this mode of hockey. So they're going to implement in conjunction with SA Hockey. And I think that gives hope. We might not have an AstroTurf in each of the schools, because we know the cost of an AstroTurf and the maintenance is astronomical. But the nature of the stick allows you to play on sand.
Lovely stuff.
Allows you to play on a tarmac, which means that all the high cost that goes with an established school is not necessary in the rural areas. But that doesn't mean we can't have hockey playing kids there. And our program has gone to a lot of the areas, and throughout South Africa, we've got 300 schools that has been exposed to hockey in the last 2-3 years. And this next season, we expect to expose another 100 schools. So that also, yes, we would love to do 200, 1,000, but with a partnership with schools, I think that 100 will be far higher in the near future.
Beautiful.